Alright, YouTube. Today we're going to talk about Special Edition and the new hard mode, as well as I think the new dungeon. I don't know what it's called. Path of Growth, Temple of Darkness. That's what it was. Yeah, I've got level 2 completed here, and today I'll be using my Kina. And my first clear was actually with my Cleave. I used like Pro, Harpy. Yes. So you'll see a lot of people here like using Argon, Bastet, Tessa, Juno, Aerial, etc. Right? I don't have Tessa built. I don't even have a Juno. My Bastet's not built. I don't have an Argon, so you know I had to make do, right? And you see records of people just absolutely slaughtering the new dungeon, using this combination, and mostly all Orbias, right? So great farming strat. I went in with I did like. Initially, I went in with like Water Cleave, and then my Crow, Helia, and Zinc, right? So Zinc's who we'll be talking about today, because I find Zinc's pretty MVP for this dungeon. I really like how he operates, and that's if you don't have Fire Pioneer, right? We'll talk about that in a bit. I just want to show you guys first, initially, when you come to the Special Expedition, right? So for the dungeon, hard mode dungeon, in order to clear the dungeon, the Special Expedition, you need a mage and a fire knight monster. And you can see here, if we go into the info here, people are using Colleen. I was like, you know what, I got Colleen, I'll pimp her out, I'll put her in quickly, and she works okay. Honestly, I'd prefer to just have Lulu in there or something, but you see people seem to be running like, you know, a good mixture, right? You see like Colleen, Sekhmet, Juno, Argon, etc. Now, Chiwu here, Fire Pioneer, you get him for free in your monster. What do we call it again? Let's have a quick peek. Monster story, right? So you come to the end here, grab your Fire Pioneer, and I'd recommend building him instead of Sekhmet for endgame, basically, because he can both strip and apply a beneficial effect block. I'm using Zinc because he's someone who I already had built. My Chiwu is not quite there yet. If we have a look at the units that I've got here, you see he's actually level 58. I'm also working on my Unfair Bear right now. I've got some basic runes on these guys, but the skill ups aren't there, right? I haven't got the skill ups, or the level really. I can actually use him in the dungeon, but it is what it is, right? You see his skills are level 1. So what you don't want to do for this dungeon, and I'll explain beneficial effect block in a minute, but what you don't want to do for this dungeon is bring like a unit like Wusa or anything. If I'll actually show you guys quickly my monsters here, you see that a lot of the monsters that I mainly use, I do have Wusa, do have like Lulu, Shushu and stuff, but you don't want to be bringing like Wusa and Shushu and using immunity in this dungeon, because what happens is when you do that, let me show you guys, skill down here, that's the annoying skill. This is this skill here. So cooldown of 1 second. If there's an enemy nearby with immunity, it removes immunity and deals fixed damage and applies beneficial effect block. Okay, as long as it's successfully removed. So if target has immunity, remove immunity. Only go to 1 second cooldown, so she can't spam it. If it doesn't work the first time, it'll work the next, or the next after, right? It'll do 70% of target's max HP as fixed damage. So not only does it nuke you very powerfully, it'll also block beneficial effects for 20 seconds, so it can be a pain in the butt. You don't want to mess around with that skill. And yeah, it's what I've been doing. I put Colleen in. You could use a number of fire knights, but I just went with the Colleen like everybody else is doing. If we go to like fire and knight, you see there is like a multiple choice selections here, but the healer I find pretty useful. Maybe you want to take in the beetle if you end up building them. Even I actually forgot his name, but the fire penguin here, you know, as a tank, or possibly this one as well, because he brings defense break, right? Yeah, like it's just a maybe, right? But there's a number of units you could build if you don't have Colleen. These are 4-star. You're guaranteed to get the Fire Beetle Knight. And yeah, you can of course try and work your way around one of these 3 stars if you need to, and you know, bring another healer, perhaps Lulu, because I find that with the way that this dungeon operates, debuffs are huge in this one. She gets, she does more damage based on debuffs and such. If you have a quick peek at her skills and info in here, right? So just something to be careful of. Anyways, I'm going to jump in and show you guys this, and then I'm going to show you guys the result of... Like, I like to use Kina for this. Like I was saying, I use Cleef for the dungeon. Kina, I found, is a bit more reliable for when you're coming in here and doing some low-rank stuff. Sorry, not low-rank stuff, but when you don't have your units, like, ideally optimized and stuff and fully pimped out, and they can just zerg it down. I wasn't building units ready for this dungeon, right? And what I found is that just bringing bringing Zeke in and such, if he does die, and it actually looks like he might all of a sudden, because of the way that these guys are kind of spreading out for us here. This is a bit rough for a start, but I can just revive him, right? Which is, I think, quite useful. Let me actually just... Oh, there we go. I'm gonna... Oh, well, I missed. He actually just got killed. Now, we're going to talk about why we want Zinc, why we want Beneficial Effect Block. And also, you can see that I've got this on auto. I have Soul Link 1 still turned off, because what we want to do is spam the Beneficial Effect Block on Kimahri here, right? And the reason we want to be doing that, right? The reason we want to be spamming the Beneficial Effect Block is so that once she reaches about 20% HP, I think it's once she reaches 20% HP. Ooh, hang on. Can we get a heal? There we go. Just swap on over there quickly and heal. Once she reaches about 20% HP, she'll start spamming. Oh, no. Why you like this? I was literally just about to heal. Why would you do that? Once she reaches about 20%, as you can see, this isn't really... I'm going to swap to Dark Weapon and just leave it on Dark Weapon, I think. Once she reaches 20% HP... Actually, we'll just figure it out. Once she reaches 20% HP, she will start spamming herself with Soul Revive buff every... I think it's got like an 8-second cooldown. So something you want to be careful of with this Soul Revive is that once she revives the first time, she's going to give herself an attack buff. And when she gives herself an attack buff, I don't think she stacks it any further, but it's completely unremovable. So just something to take note of for that, right? As you can see that even though I'm semi-manualing, it's not guaranteed. That was just a really unfortunate series of events there, I think. I was not expecting to get scammed like that, and if I really wanted to, I could try and group them up a bit more, but it is what it is. I'm going to swap back to the Wind Weapon for now, because it does, Wind Weapon does help with cleansing, so I'm going to do that, and I can assist with cleansing my units. There we go. Now, it looks like Colleen might be in a bit of trouble here. Come on, Colleen. Do better. Alright, just getting a little nuked. I could swap to the light weapon to get some more heals out if I wanted to. Let's see if we can get some heals closer. Ooh, wrong weapon. I forgot that the wind weapon does that. So let's see here. We're gonna have to revive. Oh, wait. Oh, she actually healed. Never mind. Alrighty then, never mind then. Let's swap to attack buff and use the heal. You can see Kimahri is now down to 12% while we were fooling around. And we don't have to worry as much. Ooh. Revive? She may die in that time period, but that's alright. We did kill her. Now, again, the reason that Beneficial Effect Block is so useful is because of preventing her revive. If she does revive, she comes back with that attack up, she hits a lot harder. If you're new and, like, you know, if you're new to the dungeon and you're just trying to break into it, right? So that you can grab all these rewards each day. Oh, so each week for this particular one, right? Look, so we just got a nice Despair in there. It can be quite challenging if you don't have, say, Fire Pioneer built up nicely, or, you know, you don't have the units built up for zerging the heck out of it. Like, you know, maybe you don't have Argon ready to go. Sekhmet, as you can see, my Sekhmet actually isn't all that bad. She does need a lot more, but her stats are like, they're not terror. Like, she's a half decent kind of built Sekhmet. She's not obviously 300% crit damage, 6k attack, whatever, right? But she's reasonable. And you saw that the damage isn't really like the Mari's not really dying all that quickly regardless, right? Now, so you know, it's just like, you can't always, you know, not everyone's going to be able to zerg it, and that's kind of what I wanted to make a point of when it comes to Sekhmet. Now, you saw how using Zinc was quite useful. I would like to eventually kind of just probably be like, for me, I'll probably just be like Sekhmet and Chiwu, because I don't plan on resetting my Sekhmet, and again, I don't have Argon, so I'll probably just like put some skill ups into Chiwu, run them both together, and then I'll just have him on sync, spamming his 3 mana cost. If we have a look at Chiwu, for, right, his skill, there he is. His skill here is actually 3 mana, his block beneficial effect one, and it does damage based on part of the target's max HP, yada yada yada, right? So it is actually like a bit more useful than Zinc. It brings a bit more DPS to the table, so she'll die a bit quicker. Now, as for the actual like path of adventure here, Temple of Darkness, the same strategy can be applied using your, you know, using a Zinc. It's just a 3-star monster. You can change things up however you like, depending on what units you've got built up. Obviously, you can see Bastet here, very nice. You don't have to bring, like, you're not forced to bring like a mage and a Fire Knight unit. You can bring a much better healer like Lulu, for example, who will, you know, help with cleansing the debuffs and such, or, you know, Juno if you have her, right? Things like that. But I think Lulu's or a Navel really nice for the dungeon. Since an Navel can also defense break and stuff to help bring it down a bit quicker. But, you know, there's all kinds of group makeups you can work. But I just highly recommend have a look at a beneficial effect block unit. And you know, if you can't zerg her down, a beneficial effect block is probably definitely, I think, the way to go. I'm not gonna say probably, I'm gonna say definitely the way to go. Because it just makes life so much easier, right? Even if you can zerg it down, bring it, because then you'd have to deal with her annoying revive in general, right? Now, I have an image here. So let me just close this little bit here. I have an image. This is me clearing with Kina using the same team. Because I wanted to show that even if I don't swap the team, I can go into Temple of Darkness level 2 with Kina. I can clear her fine, right? You know, similar. I think the dungeon is a bit stronger. Like, there's more. It's got more power. I think it's like 500k for the dungeon, and in Special Expedition it's like 430 or something. I'd have to double check again. But either way, I'm pretty sure the dungeon is a little stronger, but it's not too big of a difference. And I don't actually know why. Like, that was a really unfortunate run for that first one where we died. I just did a dungeon not long ago using this comp so I could get these screenshots for you guys, and it was actually really smooth. We lost Zinc once right near the end, like just about 30% HP left. I revived him. It definitely died slower. You can see here, I think that's like a 3-minute clearish or something like that, but you can see here, if I drag this up a bit, you can see like the heals from Kina and Colleen worked fine. I probably should have checked damage received and stuff there, right? But yeah, you know, it was a pretty smooth clear overall for that one there, for some reason, compared to the one at the start of the video here. And yeah, like it worked out really well. Anyways, I just want to kind of talk about that for a bit today, and hopefully you guys will do fine, you know, taking advantage of weaker units, I guess, as you progress into the game. You may not, or even if you're like endgame kind of advanced, you may not have Argon or Argon built. I didn't want to harp too much on, I'll bring, you know, Crow, Naomi, Argon, all those kind of units. Obviously, you're probably going to have one of them built. Great for your DPS. You can see that I was utilizing Sekhmet there. As I said at the start of the video, my initial clear of Temple of Darkness, I actually just went in with Cleef. And actually, you know what? I do kind of want to show you guys a little example using Cleef before we end this.
Shall we go together?
Of something that was kind of... It was very dangerous, but the way that you can utilize Cleef as well, so that you may be able to Zerg it without too many issues regardless, right? So let me just swap to Cleef here. And let's see, I think he's got runes on. Yeah, okay, so he actually, if you have a look, he's only got 25,000 HP. So keep that in mind, guys. I have him on different runes. Helia is still rocking like a little something something. Because I've taken his runes off of him, and I'm using it on someone else now. And, where are we? Old chap over here. Now, how I was actually kind of doing this was I was trying to get lucky. So if we go Path of Growth here. Now, this is just an example. I don't expect to clear this, but it's going to show you guys what I was doing. Was initially, I went in like so, and what I want to do here, I think it was, I open up with the Harpy and Water Weapon. We jump in here, get out of the way there, and I'm supposed to take the aggro. Whoop, there we go, so I provoked her. We swap to Zinc for the Sync skill, and you can see here that I'm using the Wind Weapon Shield. Uh-oh, she silenced me. And the next trick, I should probably try to evade a little bit more. I'm just waiting for the silence to come off, guys. But what I'm supposed to do next here, if it will ever unsilence me, God, come on, this is ruining it. Then I swap to the Fire Weapon, put the regen on me, just like in Galagos Ruins, right? Oh no, we lost it. We lost our DPS, but you kind of get the idea, right? You kind of get the idea. I was supposed to use Zinc a bit later. It's been like a week since I did this, alright? But just to give you guys kind of an idea on one method of kind of how to Zerg it, using Cleef there, of how I actually managed to do it, was I went in, I can't actually remember which unit I had on main sync, but it might have even been Crow. Obviously they had to stand around her appropriately, and the idea was that I would keep her taunted on Cleef. Clearly she didn't want to do that, because I got silenced, so I couldn't actually use the taunt. Let's open like this, and let's just straight up start with the Fire Weapon debuff. Let's see, we are taunted here. I'm gonna try and maneuver a little bit so that the others aren't being hit by her. And there you go, kind of, you can see here that she is indeed taunted on me at this point. Ooh, come on, guys. I do wish that they would reposition a little better. Oh, let me come over this side. They've gotten poisoned. Let me come back to here. Crow has died, so we're just going to end this. But you can see this is how I initially zerged it down and got my first kill on the dungeon. But obviously, utilizing healers and taking advantage of the mechanics is just makes things much easier than trying to zerg things down with units that are just kind of whatever, right? So like obviously Bastet would keep you alive so much easier, brings the attack buff. Zerging it down would be so much easier. Sorry, did I say, yeah. But when you've got to bring Zinc, it's like, okay, well, if I bring Bastet, Zinc, and then I bring, Crow for the DPS, right? Or Naomi, right? Windcat, obviously, because a lot of people don't have Crow. They'll be Windcat if they don't have Argon yet. Then you kind of, then you don't have Harpy for the defense break branding, on a Cleef at least, right? If you're an Orbia, makes life easy. If you check these records, most of these are all Orbia. What does she bring? She brings defense break and branding, right? So it's just like, depending on which summoner you want to play, for this, I can swap between. I can do it on Cleef, I can do it on Kina. My Orbia, because I don't have that Bastet, like, my Orbia is actually quite more difficult to keep alive than the other two for some reason, but it is what it is. But yeah, just wanted to throw out some info and tips there on this, and show you guys. I've just been, my Kina was level 63 when I first cleared it, and the gear I was using was just from White Shadow Castle. I haven't changed her gear in a while. You should be able to do it using the new regions gear fairly easily. I reckon that 2-star Awaken 5-star gear or whatever, 6-star gear, I forget. whatever it was that they give us. I think it's the 2-star Awaken 5-star gear that they give. You see my Keena's still rocking a couple of these like heroics and stuff, and it's just whatever, right? It's just whatever. It's not all that impressive, and her like stats aren't all that impressive either. So there you go. I'll end it there, guys. It went on 10 minutes longer than I wanted it to initially, but I figured we'd get into the down and gritty and talk about other options and stuff for this expedition for those that are really wanting to kind of push into it but haven't quite, they don't have the units yet, and they're, this is just like, if you don't have the like meta units and stuff going on for this particular thing built up yet because you've focused on some other areas of the game instead to farm, here's an option for you guys, and yeah, I'll leave it there and catch you guys in the next one.